Hello there, YouTubers. So today we're gonna start our whole entire thing off with a little bit of bourbon and cigars. Vicky, you're supposed to be talking.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at all the great work.
So our thing is, we've both been in male-dominated fields for so many years that we kind of like hanging out with the guys, and nothing says hanging out with the guys like a good cigar.
Oops.
You can tell Vicky is newer to the cigar world than I am. And I'm not like an old timer when it comes to cigar world, but I have been around cigars for a while now. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of our projects. Because when we started it, we were like, I don't know so much about that. Vicky knows the bourbon, she knows the crafts, I know the cigars, and now I know a little bit of bourbon.
Cheers.
Oh, here, cheers.
Cheers.
That's
And
actually,
let the fun begin.
that's actually really good.
It is, I told you.
Yeah. I'm new at that stuff. But all right, so in our entire theme and process of everything, we started doing like small cigar ashtrays, and we thought they were kind of cool because we took some of the bands off of the cigars. So what Vicky and I did was, when we first opened up our cigars, and these are good nubs, they've got that coffee scent and flavor. Most of the guys go, oh, that's a girly cigar, and yes it is, because we're girls. But so we peeled the first band off, and then of course after you smoke it and you get down to the band, then we'll have the second band peeled off and we can use that. So that's where these bands all started coming from. So what I did was I pulled them out and we started flattening them and everything else. So we're going to start with showing you this one. This is just a beginner project. So what we've done was we did one thing of resin on the very bottom, and we did it in the charcoal gray. And it took about, I want to say about 3 ounces. It wasn't very much. Mm-hmm. And then once it came, that dried and hardened and everything else, then we went ahead and we took some of the bands and we went over it with the Mod Podge?
Yes.
Okay, Mod Podge. And then once the Mod Podge dried, and that's one of the things that I found out, because I didn't wait long enough on some other stuff, so I knew Mod Podge takes a little while. You've got to let it dry completely. So this has been sitting up for 2 days, which for me is amazing for me to let it sit for any amount of time, but I got busy with other stuff.
Right.
So we're going to do some resin on top of it, just clear, so that way you can see and it'll make the bands all pop out. That'll be one of the things we're going to do in just a little while today. See, we've got some of our, I don't know if you guys can see this, but we've got some of our bands that we flattened out, and then we just set a few little hard things on it, or little heavy things, so it can continue flattening them, just because sometimes they're easier to work with if they're flat. That's not necessarily the case with our cigar trays.
That is Jody's little baby, Lucky, our little blind dog that wants to be with us.
But then he doesn't want to be with us because it's really hot in here.
Come here, baby.
Because this room has to be smoking hot
Come on, sweetie.
for everything to dry up right.
Come on, baby.
All right, so I have found that when you're doing some of the cigar molds, that it's a little bit easier if they're not straight and they are you've got a little bit of like bend to it. But usually I have to take it, wrap it around my finger a couple times and just get it to where it'll curl a little. And then I can put it in. And then once I put it in, I'm still trying to perfect that, y'all. On some of these, okay, so like this one, I did a little bit of the clear over it, and I thought, oh, well, that's cool. It's clear. Well, I didn't seal around, and so when I poured, it ended up where it drifted and everything else up underneath the cigar bands. It still looks cool. It's just not exactly how I wanted it to turn out. But none of these are going to be exactly the same no matter what, because this isn't high production. This is just
Us having fun.
fun with resin. So then Vicky was teaching me about, and she's going to have to talk to you about this because I messed up some, but the what kind of ink is it?
Alcohol ink.
Alcohol ink.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the alcohol ink, I put some of that in there. Well, when it went down, I thought the back always turns out the best to me because we can swirl it good. Even though I was swirling, but it still ended up having some of those dots in it.
Globs.
She calls them globs. I call them dots. They're like polka dots. They're pretty.
They're pretty.
Yeah, but you know, in some of the world, that some people don't like that. And then it has some clear areas, which is really cool because then you can see through it and everything else. It's almost looks stained glass looking.
And these are new molds that we've never used before.
Right.
And so we're still learning how they react to the alcohol ink, to mica powder, to the different things that you put in them. But we like the molds, so we're going to work with them because we know a lot of guys that smoke cigars.
And we have a lot of guys who are like, hey, when are you going to have another one ready? Yeah. And we're like, soon, because we don't want it to be where it's high production and then we end up not having as much fun with it, although we're having a lot of fun. All right, so then we have this one, and on this one I just try to match up colors, and sometimes I just play around with it. So I did the bottom where it was gold because I thought that was cool, and I did take the mica powder and I dusted around the inside of the mold. And when I dusted, this is how this came. That's just how it turned out. So when you never know how it's going to turn out. That's what the funnest thing about the next morning, running down like it's Christmas and you unmold and you go, woo, look what I got. Look what I created.
Best time of day.
It is.
And out of the mold.
And it's so much, it really is fun because sometimes you just never know what in the world is going to happen. Now on this one, this mold itself, Vicky and I have been discussing it because she's back in the...
I don't think you can see me, but anyway, I want...
Why can't you see you?
Listen, we're new at all this. So.
All right, so on this one, in this mold, it gets bubbles. And that sounds cool, but no, it's not when you get bubbles that end up, when they pop, they make a hole. So in the corners, it has these two little holes. So what we'll have to do is we'll do a little bit of our resin, UV resin, and we'll put a little bit in there, and then I'll just do a filler, and then that way it'll be smooth instead of just having this hole. You can feel that and see. Because Vicky is the fixer. She fixes everything right on up. I'm the one that messes it up. She fixes it.
Bless her heart, she really believes that.
Do believe that.
I do believe.
All right. So that's 3 of them, and I don't know if you guys can see them good or not.
Well, we're still, we know nothing about recording with video, so all this is brand new to us, but you're never too old to learn. So it's all a great challenge, a lot of fun.
Right, and I don't know if they can see the bullet casings that are right here in front of me.
Yeah.
They can?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have the bullet casings. And I have buckets of them. And all this time I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with them. But I knew not to get rid of them because I was like, if nothing else, I could do reloads. And the only thing is you can't reload the steel ones. So I got some steel and I thought, well, man, we can use these. And steel shines up real pretty and everything else anyways. And so what I did was I took one of the molds and I put a couple of the spent casings in it. And then I did the cigar wrap, and I only did one cigar wrap this time because I wanted you to be able to focus on the spent casings. Man, we did up 3 of them, and we had like 2 of them that were in a design like this one, and they already like flew. Guys were like, I need that, I want that, and so we were like, okay. And so this is the one that's left right now. But you can put them in. The thing you have to watch out for is when you do these bullet casings, you really need to do a little bit of UV resin or a little bit of resin up inside there first, because when the primer gets hit by the firing pin, it does like a little indentation, and for whatever reason, it's just enough of a puncture that it caused it to have a lot of bubbles and stuff. So you have to stay on top of it. You can't leave it. Because I thought, oh, well, there's no more bubbles. I'm good. Well, you leave the room and stuff, and one will sneak up on you in a heartbeat. And Vicky did teach me about, you know, how you have to stay on top. Now, tell them about the...
Sure. We don't do just guy stuff. It's just we're interested in this kind of stuff. But here is 2 things that I've done recently. You should show it to them because I'm working the camera.
You come back over here. You get over there and sit down. So
that's my butterfly.
This is her butterfly, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, I used mica powder with that, with the black in the backing. And here is my feather. And I did the same thing with mica powder. I painted the molds, and then I just added black pearl mica powder resin to it.
But while we're talking about that, I love what she did with this.
Yeah, that was just an experiment.
But it's beautiful. Okay, so tell them what you did.
I had some butterfly stickers, and I poured the clear, and then I put the stickers on it. No, first I did the white pearl, and then I put the stickers on it, and then I put a clear over that. And in the around the edges, I just had little blue ice things that I put in there to give it some color.
Oh, okay. Because see, I thought that you had done like micro powder or something like that you painted. So that was actually the little...
Yeah, that was little pearl things that I put in there, and it was white. I used the white mica powder in the resin just a little bit to give it a little color. That was an experiment.
I love it. I think it's cute. It's a cute little tray. And you can put a candle on it or whatever. Yeah, it's just really pretty.
Right.
And then, okay, so now you guys probably remember in a couple videos ago that Vicky was working on this tray. Well, if she's still working on it,
the tray now weighs 50 pounds.
It keeps changing, but it's getting pretty heavy. So if a windstorm comes now, she doesn't have to worry about it blowing away. But this is where she's at now.
Still not happy with it. Still working on it.
So she'll be changing it up, and you will
it'll get better. Weigh 150 pounds by the time I'm through.
and it'll be all the way up to the edge by then.
It will be. That'll be even prettier though. See, you gotta be positive. And this is our little sanctuary in here.
Yes.
The shape, and I know I've seen a lot of crafters' room, and they're just beautiful. They're so nice and neat, and yeah, no, that's not how we roll.
No, this room is real. This room is
a bedroom we turned into a craft room.
Yeah, but this is all true, and we're gonna go on a field trip, and she's gonna come over and we're gonna use my area.
That's right.
One time, and it is not pristine. It is not all cleaned up either.
No, yours looks great.
So
okay, we're gonna get busy.
We are. Let's do it.
Okay. We're not going to record while we're mixing up the resin and everything, so we'll be back shortly.
Yes.
Stay tuned.